The basic idea of what management is the ability to take a bunch of parts that to some people appear unrelated and to connect those parts, and not only connect them, but to connect them in a way that creates value for each and every part and for the larger whole. So if we think about an organization being made up of different individuals, a manager, a skillful manager, a good manager, is a person who can connect all those individuals and make them work, cooperate, you could say, in such a way that value is created for each and every individual and for the larger whole that we might call a department or a division, and for the larger whole that we call the organization. It's ironic that we have these institutions called business schools that are supposed to help us create value. And in the end, in my opinion, we don't do a good job of that at all. What we do is we assume what the student needs to know that's valuable content, and we throw it at them time after time after time. So a student is left thinking, well, I guess this is important. I guess because they're teaching it to me, I guess because this is a respectable institution, this must be what it is. The value for the student is simply not there. We haven't stopped and taken the time to justify and to have the conversation with that individual student about what the nature of the value in the very classroom interaction itself. We haven't done that. And so I find it profoundly ironic that we're supposed to be all about understanding value and values creation, and yet we don't take the time even to inquire about the nature of our own students' relationship to the material. And we keep throwing it at them, like shoving it down their throats, thinking I'm the expert, therefore. But it's in that very, very fundamental interaction of the student to the material, that's where it all starts. And if we don't get that right, I don't think we can posture ourselves as knowing anything about value. A class is not a teacher administering something. It's the whole dynamic that transpires in a learning environment when individuals are activating their minds. The exchange of ideas, the process of drawing on different people's perspectives and engaging those in inquiry, that cannot be done. I do not think it can be done online. I think you can have your instant messaging, but you lose a great deal of the here and now. I think some students are really half asleep going through their educational process and not really thinking that they're the ones driving it. It's not the professor. Once they leave, I'm not going to be grading that person on what they do. They're going to have their own moral compass about what's worth their time and what's worth doing. So if we can't begin to awaken and cultivate that, then I don't think we're doing our job. What I'm going really back to is the classical idea of the education of a person, the formation of a human being, the development of a society, and the relationship of the individual to the larger collective and vice versa. To me, that's the essence of the humanities, is this inquiry about the reciprocal relationship between the evolution of the person and the evolution of society, if you will. We've completely lost that. I don't know where that conversation is taking place now. I believe that it belongs in a business school. There are tremendous problems with that, but I can't see anywhere else to put it. So all these problems that we've talked about, the cultivation of the person, the development of what you could call moral compass, the problem of value and values, and the complexity of that, the sensitivity to the diversity of values that any one individual brings to the party. This entire huge category, to me, all belongs in this classical tradition of the humanities. The idea of bringing that into the business school, to me, that's what integrating the humanities and business is all about.